Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Great Awakening Generator with me, Rose McNair, and today, Barbara Starke or Barb Starke from empoweryou.co.nz, right?
Yes.
Yes. Welcome, Barb. How are you?
Hi, Rose. Lovely to be here again. And I'm very well, thanks.
That's good. We had a well, was it long? Not quite, was it? We had a few weeks off with the Mercury retrograde and all of those things, right? So,
Mm.
and it seems like yours went well. Your Mercury retrograde phase went well.
Yes, it went well. I certainly had tired periods, but I've also been very busy.
Oh,
So yeah,
yes.
and my energy levels are really good now. So
Good, good, because it wasn't feeling like that before. We had the Mercury retrograde. You were having some times when you weren't feeling exactly high energy, right? Uh, did I get that right? I hope.
I'm not sure. I can't remember.
I know so many things, right? So many things have happened. But anyway, I'm glad to hear that you're feeling revived and rejuvenated and relaxed because that's important. So, tapping techniques for today.
Yes, yes. I thought we would talk a little bit on tapping for children. And at first we'd speak about tapping for children under 10 or even a bit younger, because children can mature, depending on the maturity, but for the younger kids.
Yes.
Before we get into it, of course, I have to mention our disclaimers. And that is, if you're under the care of the doctor or if your child's under the care of a doctor, or a specialist, you need to check with them before you change any of their treatments or medications or things like that. And you fundamentally, if you can, get your child to drink water, just be mindful of that they're also flushing toxins as well. The good thing about children, especially young children, is that they process a lot more quickly than us.
Yes.
We don't have to go into a lot of depth and we don't tap for a long time. So usually my sessions with children are sort of like only 30 minutes.
Okay.
And that's pretty much because they haven't had a whole life of emotional baggage to wade their way through, and that they then have to process to get to, what's affecting them. So we keep it pretty general for young kids.
Yeah, and I think it's a good thing to teach, now that we know what we know, to teach young children these things because it's practical, and children do love doing those things that are practical because it's fun. And also, there's some things you remember from childhood that if it was you getting up and taking some actions, you didn't forget it, right? We didn't forget some of those games we played that took action. So this is really a good thing to teach a child, because I think if you teach them young enough, then they carry on with that. They have a tool to work with for the rest of their lives if everything else fails.
That's exactly right. And a lot of children actually really appreciate learning a tool, because a lot of kids, when they have a tantrum, slightly older now, or outbursts, they feel out of control themselves.
Yes.
Like they can't control it. So it's actually really empowering for them to know that they can calm themselves. A lot of the time, kids don't like being angry. They don't like, having those horrible feelings. So
Yes.
it's a really powerful thing. And remember, of course, with tapping, we don't just have to tap. They can hold the point and they can rub the point as well.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So for our younger children, I don't know if you've heard of mirror neurons, but mirror neurons do come into play. Now, how mirror neurons work is that by observing a behavior, that the same neurons fire in your brain.
Okay.
But even if you can't get your young child tapping on themselves, if you're tapping on yourself, that will be firing the neurons in their brain. And the other thing we do is that we use cuddly toys. So you can actually buy a tapping teddy bear that has little buttons on the tapping points for kids. So with the younger kids, we just tap on 4 points. So it's the eyebrow point,
Yes,
under the eye, and then the chest, so you can pretend you're Tarzan.
okay,
And the arms, so again, they can be monkeys.
okay, right.
So you can actually play with the kids with it, and those are the points. So you can actually get them to get their teddy and tap on their teddy as well.
Okay.
That Teddy's upset and we're calming Teddy down.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's really handy for younger kids. With younger kids too, we always want to meet them where they are. Like, we're there to support them. So if it's your child, or even if you're a teacher, you might be comforting them as well. And we reassure them. So it might be, even though, and we use their words. So our adult word might be angry, but a little child might be really mad, or, you know, or they might be grumpy. So you'd use their words. It's like, even though I'm really grumpy right now, mum and dad still love me, if that's appropriate, or I'm a good kid anyway. Or if
Yes.
they've got a pet, you know, Smokey still loves me. So you use words like that. And so then you just tap as much as you would for an adult, and you just, they will settle very quickly.
Okay.
You
Wow.
tap through. So the younger kids, you can tap on all the same things. You can tap on stress, pain, fear, bullying, resilience, self-esteem, all those sorts of things. Like, they might come in, you know, they might have just been teased in the playground or something, or an elder siblings teased them or something. So even though such and such was mean to me, I'm a good kid anyway, and mum and dad still love me. And just get to tell the story and tap with them. So tapping for kids is as easy as that. There are a few good books out that you can just find online. There's also some really good tapping songs that different people have put out that you can find online as well, to get your kids to tap along.
Okay.
So it's just the same. And with kids, younger kids, as you with tapping, we measure the intensity. You can also measure the intensity with them. Asking a child to say, is it a 10 or is it a 0? It's probably too big a question. So it could be, how big is it? Is it this big?
Yeah.
Or is it big?
That's right. Yeah.
Or some people, I might have one in my drawer, some people will use a ruler. This is not a very good ruler. Or a timeline with numbers on it, you know, and is it this big? Is it a 10, or is it way up here, or is it down here? You know, so just that, and then you can check in with them where the intensity is. But you'll probably find that you'll notice that they'll change, and then they'll just want to go off and play. They'll be settled.
Just calms them down and gets them in a good balanced space. That's important.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So for school age children, for the teachers using tapping in the classroom, you can use it like when they get to school to calm them down, or they might still be tired, or dealing with whatever's happened, you know, to get to school, the stresses of that. And so you could use them for calming then. After breaks and things like that, when they come back from lunch, they might either still be wound up from the lunchtime or be feeling tired.
Yeah.
So you can tap into energize them. You could get them walking while they're tapping, and that will help increase their energy levels as they're tapping around. You know, you could all be walking around the classroom and tapping. I did the top of the head, which I don't do for the real young ones. And so the teachers can use it for that. And then the end of the day, to let go of of what's happened in the classroom on the day.
Okay. Wow. Wonderful. Do we want to do sorry, carry on.
Yeah, it's a great tool, and very effective for children as well. Okay. And as you mentioned, you know, once they've got it for life.
That's right. Yes. So what else? Because I was wondering, hey, should we do just a tapping, maybe 3 times to show tapping? Just a reminder for everybody. What do you think?
Oh, for the adult tapping?
Yes. Or even with the children, we can do one for the children too. I mean, we're just showing this is what we mean. I know you showed it already.
Yes.
Yeah, but let's do it as humans now.
as humans, for big people.
For big people, yes.
Yeah, because that's another thing that I'd like to mention. Quite often, we as a parent are worried about our child. And so it's important that we also calm our systems down, because if we're under a lot of stress, our child picks up on that. We're all connected. You know, just as the mirror neurons work, we're reflecting. The same goes for the children, our children picking up on what we're experiencing. Yes. Even though we do our best to hide it.
That's right. Yeah, we do our best to hide it. But
and you know, so in the womb, that baby experiences whatever you're experiencing.
Yeah.
So even though I'm really worried about Sally.
Even though I'm really worried about Sally.
I love and accept myself anyway.
I love and accept myself anyway.
Yeah. Even though I'm really worried about Sally.
Even though I'm really worried about Sally.
And it's on my mind all of the time.
And it's on my mind all of the time.
Yeah, I accept that I feel this way.
I accept that I feel this way.
Even though I'm really worried about Sally.
Even though I'm really worried about Sally.
She's just getting so angry all of the time, and I just don't know how to deal with it.
She's just getting so angry all of the time, and I just don't know how to deal with it.
I accept that this is the way it is for now.
I accept that this is the way it is for now.
Yeah. All of this worry.
All of this worry.
Every time I see her, my stomach turns.
Every time I see her, my stomach turns.
It turns and it churns.
It turns and it churns.
This churning in my stomach.
This churning in my stomach.
All of this worry about Sally.
All of this worry about Sally.
She gets so angry.
She gets so angry.
And I just don't know where it's going to end.
And I just don't know where it's going to end.
And I can't handle it.
And I can't handle it.
Yeah, I don't know what to do about it.
I don't know what to do about it.
All of this worry.
All of this worry.
All of this worry.
All of this worry.
I'm feeling so powerless.
I'm feeling so powerless.
And I know that she's picking up on my worry.
And I know that she's picking up on my worry.
I wonder sometimes if she's playing me off.
I wonder sometimes if she's playing me off.
Yeah. If she doesn't get angry to help me worry.
If she doesn't get angry to help me worry.
Yeah. It's a bit like a vicious cycle.
It's a bit like a vicious cycle.
Yeah. All of this worry.
All of this worry.
All of this worry.
All of this worry.
Yeah. Let's take a nice breath in and out. So that's how a parent could tap on whatever they've, whatever worry or anxiety or fear is a big one for parents, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fear of what our children are going through at the moment. Because they have, what they've been through. They've been through so much in the past few years, a lot different to what we went through. We didn't experience that ourselves. And
Definitely.
a lot of parents don't know where to turn, don't know what to do.
Know how to navigate it.
Up on that as well.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. And they obviously, like you say, they pick up on all the things. They sense that we're fearful, even if you're trying to hide it and worry. They'll know you're worried. There might be you might sigh a lot when you're worried, and child might have observed it. And then they know when you're doing that, although you don't realize that, then, oh, mom's in that phase again, kind of thing.
Yeah. And some of them will poke your buttons as well. They'll push your buttons.
Absolutely.
So there is that.
And I'm doing my yawning thing because I'm clearing now.
Yeah, that's right. Just tapping. I mean, you're just tapping.
It's awesome.
And reduces the cortisol.
Yeah. And also just that yawning is so good for the oxygen going to the brain, isn't it? When you yawn.
Yeah.
Means more than I'm bored.
It doesn't mean you're bored at all. I don't take it that way, Rose.
No, I know. I'm just saying it as in because normally when we were in school, remember, stop yawning in my class, sleep at home. But if you're taking in information, you should yawn because if oxygen to the brain means your process is better. Anyway, I digress. Yes, wonderful. As you were doing this for Sally, I was thinking about Baxter. I was thinking about, oh my gosh, I should think about Baxter. I should think about Baxter as Sally because I don't have a Sally, but or even thinking about my own child.
That's right.
Because it can even work for your pet. You just made me realize that. Yeah. So.
And because what I found with tapping, and this is getting more into the energy side of it, but if we're connected, and Ho'oponopono comes into this a bit as well.
Okay.
Yeah, in that we're connected. So if we can, and so we're actually feeding each other energetically with that connection. So if we can release our side of that actually releases the other party from that as well. Yeah. And then they're able to heal. We sort of hold each other into these things and into these patterns.
Wow. That's interesting, eh?
I see it all of the time.
I'm sure because we have such karmic connections. We've not like just now together. We've been together previously. So yeah. Right, Barb. So is that all for the session then?
Yes, that's all for the session for the younger children. I hope there's some useful information there for everybody to take away and practice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for doing it. We always appreciate you being here on the Great Awakening Generator with us doing tapping techniques, because I can tell you it's really awesome that there's something out there and people can access it at any time they want to. you know, as long as they have the internet, they can access it. Yes. Thank you, Barb. And thank you everyone for watching. And we're going to catch you next time again for the Tapping Technique series with Barb Starke here on the Great Awakening Generator. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Rose. See
You're
you.
welcome.